What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by, spending a few minutes of your time with me today. Today I wanted to talk to you about learning, the process of growth and expansion at a spiritual level, at an emotional level, at an experiential level, okay? I want to talk to you about learning. Did you know that there are certain people of the Jewish tradition that hold this foundational belief that God created the world by merging the letter, the number, and the sound? And oddly enough, this is exactly what you and I learn when we start school. When you start school, you are given the letter, you are given the alphabet, and you learn different combinations of these letters to create words. You may learn to read and to write. This is the letter. These are the things that you will use to express yourself intelligibly to other people, right? You are also given numbers. You learn how to count, and you learn different methods of counting. You learn certain basic mathematics, how to identify numbers in the real world. You are given all of these foundational learning tenets. This is your foundation. These are your lower levels of learning, upon which all higher levels will be built, right? And you're not only learning how to read, write, and count, you're also learning to navigate a social environment, an emotional environment. You're learning how to interact with other people, with children your same age, and with other adults, right? You're learning so much, and all of this is so foundational for your life. So many people take this stuff for granted and forget about everything that they've learned, the basics. Right? So many people say that everything they learned in school was pointless, that they never use it in the real world. But in fact, these things that you learned, the alphabet and this system of numbers, the way that you describe the world, this is what creates the mental matrix of what you call reality. This is what you identify as your life. This is how easy it is to take these things for granted, to forget about the basics, right? And this can become an obstacle for a person. It's necessary to return to the basics on a regular occurrence. This is why school is formulated the way that it is. You have elementary school, you will graduate elementary school, you will start off brand new again in middle school. You will graduate from middle school, start off brand new again in high school, so on and so forth, right? And in university, many people in their first year will go back to the basics. They will return to the basics and take all of their basic courses to ensure that they're up to par, to make sure that they have a strong foundation upon which to build, right? Now, when it comes to spirituality, the most fundamental core teaching of most spiritual traditions all around the globe is love. Most of your mainstream religions teach this universal principle of love as basics. Okay? This is why many religions serve as a great foundation, a great gateway into spirituality, right? Many people stay within a religion, but many people transcend religion and take it a step further, right? But it's necessary sometimes to get back to the basics, because without this foundational love, nothing means anything. Love is a source of renewal. Love makes things brand new again. Without love, your life will seem like an eternal time loop. You will be stuck living the same existence every single day. It's meaningless without love. Love is a source of renewal, and it's basic. But it's very easy to take the basics for granted, right? Even a person that graduates from university, they are a rookie in their field. Eventually, they become a veteran. But they will become stumped on something. And when this person becomes stumped, they may have to return to the basics to figure out where this error in thinking is that has led to this obstacle. And like I told you in the last video I uploaded, right? I love to watch movies. I love a good film. It can be a beautiful and brilliant experience to open you up to new things, to new thoughts. Many movies illustrate, in a way, your more abstract experiences with life. The people that create these movies are geniuses, right? And a few months ago, I watched for the first time this movie called Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray. It was a great movie. I can't believe that I had never seen it, but everything happens for a reason, right? So in this movie, Bill, he is a news anchor, right? He's always on the TV, and he's in a small town, so everybody knows his name. He's sort of in his prime. He's been doing this for a few years, and he's sort of like famous where he lives. People regularly ask him for his autograph when they see him. He's treated to the best of everything, right? But this becomes an obstacle to him because he actually begins to believe in the story that these people tell about him. He actually begins to see himself as more valuable than they are. His ego becomes inflated, and when the ego becomes inflated, there's no more room for love there. And without love, everything is meaningless. It seems like the same thing over and over and over again. And that's how Bill was beginning to feel. That nothing had a point. He was just simply going through the motions. He believed he knew everything. In fact, because he had been reporting on every incident in the town up until this point, he believed everything was predictable. So he made a prediction about the next day, which was Groundhog's Day. He made a prediction about what the groundhog would see. And the next day, when he reported on the groundhog, he was wrong. And he was sort of bummed out because he was wrong, so he went to bed early that night. The next day when he woke up, the same song was playing on the radio when he woke up. And he was like, oh, that's kind of strange. And then soon enough, he realized it was, in fact, yesterday. It was the same day happening all over again. The most intense form of deja vu he had experienced thus far, right? He was sort of bewildered by it. And he went to bed that night. The next day he woke up, and again, the same song was on the radio. It was Groundhog's Day all over again. And it stayed like this for a while. Every single day was Groundhog's Day. He tried to confide in people, but the next day they forgot that he confided in them. So he was totally alone in this, right? He got super depressed, and he actually killed himself in various ways. But he always came back in the morning, that Groundhog's Day, forced to relive this repeating eternal time loop of Groundhog's Day. And at some point, he had this realization that what he needed to do was work on himself, was to better himself. And the only way he could do this was by loving others. So he took the time to get to know each and every person in the town. He would sit down with each one of them each day and have a conversation and find out a little bit more about them. And the next day they would not remember that they had spoken to Bill, but Bill would remember every detail. Every day started to become brand new for him. And then he started to get to know this woman named Rita that had been there the entire time right in front of him. And the more he got to know about her, the more he fell for her, the more he fell in love, the more he experienced love. Which, at the climax of the movie, allowed him to escape from the time loop. Love as this source of renewal, this basic thing that so many people take for granted and forget about in their everyday life, which causes us to remain in this constant state of meaninglessness. Anyway, until next time, I hope you continue to free your mind.